Everybody, it's your boy Frank Martin, and here we go with what winds my crank with Mr. Frank. So it's winding my crank today that Spider-Man stuntman is injured in a fall. Now let me paint you a picture of how this fall happened. Building collapsing, Mary Jane holding on for dear life. Spider-Man runs out to grab her, calls her name out, and she falls to the ground. That part was planned. She had a nice little cable there. It lowered her to the ground safely. What wasn't planned was when Spider-Man's safety cable snapped and the stuntman fell 31 feet to the ground, injuring himself. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is probably 1 out of a million shot that someone got hurt. This is actually the 4th injury in the production of this play. And the worst part is, it hasn't even debuted on Broadway yet. Its actual debut month is supposed to be in February, but there's talks of pushing it to March, maybe even April, because of all the injuries that's going on. It's very dangerous, and on top of that, this play is very expensive. It cost $65 million to produce this play, which in the end you think, well, probably been better if they just spent that money on a real Spider-Man movie instead of giving us a play. But that brings us to our next section, which is the question of the day. Should they scrap the high-flying stunts? I've been to several Broadway plays or off-Broadway plays, and I can tell you this much: they can make anything look real, okay? I've seen scenes where people were hanging off of a building for dear life, and from the perspective of where you were looking at, it looks like they would have fallen, let's say, the 30 or 45 feet, but they were really only 5-10 feet off the ground, and they just made it look like it just because that's what you do in a play. You suspend disbelief and you go, oh, that looks believable. What's crazy is when you start flying people over the crowd and you're supposed to expect the cables to continue to hold. So should they scrap these high-flying stunts before someone gets killed? Or someone in the audience gets injured? Or even worse, both? Leave your comments in the fields below on YouTube and Facebook, and if you're on My Morning Joe, make sure you just add a comment to the video here. I'll be more than happy to get in on any debates that we're having about this particular topic. But for now, my name's Frank Martin, and that's what winds my crank.